Okay, so welcome to the regular meeting of Hideout, Utah, July 9th, 26. It's called to order. And
Yes.
Here.
Carol,
Here.
Brian,
Here.
and Peter, are you online? Well, we may have to wait for Peter for later, but he shows up. Okay,
Sorry.
all right. No, is there anybody on?
Yes, Stefan and meeting note.
Oh, okay, so let's go to Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So item Roman numeral 5, we're gonna skip because there's minutes on here. We may go into a possible closed executive session later. And then the public comment. So whether is there anyone here or online that wants to comment, start from here. Jonathan does.
Yeah, Public Works put up a couple of stop signs at each end of Overlook. And I think for the most part, it is slowing traffic down. But it appears to me that, and this is not scientific, but I just stood there for about a half hour on 3 separate days. About 15 to 20% of people are just blowing by the stop signs. So I'm wondering if maybe we could either, at Stefan's suggestion, put a little red blinking light there because people may not know they're there and just keep driving, or perhaps invite the sheriff if that doesn't work. For a couple of hours each day or a couple of days to, show people that the stop sign means something. I think I'd rather just try the blinking light first. Because what we want is compliance, not enforcement, but most people are slowing down. Some are doing a rolling stop, but that's not unusual, but there are 15 to 20% of people just blow straight through it. And that could be a problem.
So I had the same observation. In fact, myself, when I came back from a week trip to Maryland, and we're driving here at night, I came up Thrilling Drive. I almost drove through the stop sign, the one at the bottom, right? Because, and my wife pointed out, oh, look, yeah, stop, right? Like, oh, good, they put the stop sign in, right? Because they put what's going on. There's like sign overload there. She counted like 10 signs within like 20 feet, right? From both sides, and a lot of them on one side of the road, right in front of the stop sign. So I had suggested that too, that the red blinkers that they put on some of the other stop signs are still there when they first put them in on the connecting roads. I think they're effective. They're just a little solar powered, red flashing light that flashes all the time. That would draw attention to it. And I've seen some other people almost roll through, right? And then at the last minute. White lines might help too, stop lines. We don't have those in the town, but
We're putting some in.
I think those.
Yeah, we're gonna put some in. Putting some in on 248 in conjunction with UDOT, right at the entrance to Ross Creek, so striping. And I'm sure we can do some more. Thomas, while you're here, remember that one, because we're on, we talk about this, okay.
Yep.
Good call. Anything else on the sign?
I had a comment, signage related as well, related to construction vehicles entering and exiting. I think the intent of the 7 a.m. timeframe, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for construction being permitted, implies that we don't want large construction vehicles entering before 7 a.m. And I'm wondering, is that true, or do we need clarity? And if we need clarity, I think we should have signs to the main entrances that say construction vehicles prohibited before 7 a.m. Because I think what's happening is a lot of guys are showing up early to work.
Yeah.
And with the larger excavation vehicles in particular, by definition, they're noisy.
Yeah.
And so even if they show up at 5:30, they're sitting out there for an hour, just their arrival, especially when they're in mass. So is there an opportunity there for us to create greater clarity and then put signage around it if possible?
Well, you and I talked, what, at 7:30 this morning, and Tom, so I was calling me at 6:30 AM.
Yeah.
And then.
Cause they showed up at 5:18, literally. And it was like-
Jamie, well, she called me, so, yeah, I mean, but it's clear in the code. You cannot have contractor vehicles before 7 AM or after 7 PM. So, yeah, so to enforce it, it's either gonna be like interstate or, putting maybe some signs in construction areas. No heavy vehicle, no contract.
No construction vehicles prior to 7 AM.
I like the idea of a big sign at each
Each
entrance to the
main
town.
entrance,
That's an inexpensive way, I think, to get
at least
people to.
flag it.
Yeah,
That may create another issue out on 248, but,
Yeah, if they're all parked out there.
be like the
Waiting,
airport.
yeah.
something like that.
yeah, that's a good point.
Well, there's a big turnoff, you know, the overlook, right? There's plenty of room for a dozen vehicles to sit there and wait. They have to go on it, but-
And maybe we have a couple of portable signs so that if you know there's an area where there's 3 or 4 homes being built, you put them there, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a great idea.
Another way is maybe we remind the developer builders that are active in town and say, hey, here's a copy of our ordinance. Please tell your subcontractors.
Yeah.
That we are gonna begin enforcing this, because we would much rather they comply than us having to enforce it with fines. So please, can you tell your subcontractors?
Yeah, but on that point, what's the rule about starting construction and having a sign posted, right? Every construction site is supposed to have a sign posted, the property owner and the general contractor and a phone number. We have a couple of sites going on right now with no such signs. And the one on my street's a problem, the way they keep blocking the street, and I have nobody, I don't know who to call. So does anybody know what the rule is? How fast that sign's supposed to be up?
Yeah,
You know, I was gonna ask, we should make sure the building permit is posted too. Or at least the information about it.
And Peter, that's where you could get the information, is if you can get the address, you can contact our building department. And they should have a permit on file, hopefully, and the permit should indicate all that information that you're looking for.
Right, but I believe the regulation is you have to have a sign posted, so you don't have to go through that. So if there's a problem, there's a phone number and you know where to call. We have a site right on coming down into town. They've been working on that site for almost a month now. And there's no sign there.
Yeah.
And our street, they've been working for at least 3 weeks. And there's no sign there.
And then
And that has to be a violation. Just has to be.
well, to me, at least, you would think that interstate could handle some of this. Thomas, you're looking at me, maybe.
I think the sign is supposed to be there when they get the building permit. They're supposed to have that sign up there. So if it's not up there and they have a building permit,
violation.
it's supposed to be up there at that time, I think, according to the code.
That's another fine gag.
And then
And something else.
well.
That's excavation, that's, I think, any building permit. I think that we require, any developer, we require that sign, so it should be there at time of building permit. And I think, maybe I can reach out to Carol and make sure.
Now, this is what my understanding is that she's also doing is that she's giving them a copy of that code. And every time every time they do file a building permit, she gives them a copy of the code to follow.
They have to sign it.
That's it.
So the GC's gotta come in there and say, I understand this, and of course, then like this morning, they didn't know. The sub probably didn't say they got
Claim that.
but, we have no enforcement, so,
Right.
other than. Folks like at this table, I mean, we've probably done some enforcement, when we gotta get.
Just by word of mouth, you know.
So when we get that contract signed, these guys could they could go back and forth on Longview Drive and they'd pay for themselves in a week. So.
Yes to that, Tanya. Yes.
There we have that done.
Peter, you might take a look at section 10.04.34 A and B. I think that addresses what you're looking for.
Okay, state it again, section 10, what?
10.04.34.
Okay, thanks.
And we should add that to the contract. So,
So just one more comment about temporary signs. In Red Ledges, they have these little plastic placards that fold, that stand up and they say parking this side or not parking that side for all the, that's construction guys there. They must have a stiff fine because they follow it. My in-laws have a house there, so that's why I know. Something like that's cheap and like you can put it up wherever you need it, right? The disadvantage is it can be ripped off, right?
Right.
It's not posted in the ground.
Well,
But either
when
way-
you're down there, can you take a picture of that and then say,
Yeah, yeah.
what are they using?
They're just, they're like a bigger version of what you see in shopping malls and things when they're mopping the floor, or whatever, they're taller, they're like 3 feet tall.
There goes in Deer Springs, by the way, so you can get a good look at it easily.
Oh, and Deer
On a
Springs.
Ascent Drive.
Oh, yeah, that's right, I have seen when they're about parking, right, so those are gotta be cheap, and you can probably put whatever placard you want on them, right? And you can, nice thing is you can move them anytime you want it, from where to. Only need a couple, 3 or 4, whatever.
Well, the other thing that, Interstate wants to know is signage and where the parking spots are, so, you know. I don't know if they have any incentive to put up signs.
But we have a bunch already, at least along, Berlin Drive, Longview, I think. They have put up quite a few.
Hey, oh, I was gonna say, we gotta recognize Peter. Peter, whenever you came in, you're here.
I am here, correct.
Just wanna make sure you're officially recognized.
Officially recognized, got it, yep.
Okay, I have a comment. And I'm speaking for a neighbor who is going to be here, I think at 5:30. I gave her the wrong information about when public comment was. So I will just make the comment that there's a concern about what natural grade is when they excavate and then they fill, and it's on a hill. And the driveway is a relatively steep angle. What is grade? I think we need to come up with a definition of what grade is.
Well, Thomas and I just talked about that yesterday, I
Okay,
believe,
you and I
so,
have talked about it.
do you want to say a couple of words on this one?
Yeah, so, when we redid the code in 2020, we did create a sensitive land section, which really starts to define how earth is moved, kind of cut and fill, that kind of thing. It's also got some environmental restrictions in there for wetlands and steep slopes, et cetera. But one of the things that was incorporated in there was a section that allows for only a maximum of either 5 feet fill or 5 feet cut for development. And so it establishes a parameter so that everybody understands, surrounding properties understand what the property adjacent to or in front or behind them can build to. I think the property that you may be discussing, Carol, is part of the master MDA, which was done prior to the 2020 code, so has a different vesting. And so I don't know that there was a specific metric in the code or in the MDA for that area, but I do know that an adjacent property owner also reached out to me to see if I could go look at that site and just kind of give it a quick assessment. So I'm willing to do that. It may be something that has to be addressed with the DRC, the HOA's DRC, because actually they're the ones who would approve the details of that just because it falls under the purview of the former town code.
So I think the question too is the excavation is so deep and it's so cut into the hill. That how do you determine, and right now there's no fill. So it's just.
Also, there has been no fill, it's just been a cut. There hasn't been any
it's
fill
a
for
huge
construction. Okay.
cut, yeah.
What site are we talking about?
Concern is where's the fill, what level will the fill come up to determine grade?
To final grade.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. What site are you talking about that someone's worried about?
So it is, it's on your street And it's that great big huge hole. It's the.
Oh,
only-
okay, so on Longview, Longview.
in Longview, and I just drove by it a couple days ago. And right now, it's just this enormous big hole.
Yeah, they're just pouring the concrete in it, except they couldn't do it because Tanya shooed
Because I
them
stopped.
away because they came too early.
Those are the guys.
Yeah.
She's our honorary construction hour enforcement
Well-
Right,
along with her dog.
so
So,
that's what the neighbors cut looked like though before they built.
yeah,
There's
it's,
just tremendous
well,
amount of rock there.
it's very common,
Okay.
very common here because we have fairly steep slope, like 45-degree slopes, right? Every home is on some slope, one either uphill or down.
So I understand, so this one is it's an uphill
It's an
slope
uphill
off
lot,
the street,
Right.
and they're cutting into it.
Into
It's
the-
not adding soil
Well,
or elevation.
I think the question from the resident,
Huh,
because he
okay.
contacted me as well, is the height above natural grade. So what is the natural grade when this, when the real original hill is like
Yeah.
this? Is it the middle? Is it the bottom? Is it the top, right? They're concerned about it being too high.
Okay, okay.
And the R-SPA, I think, says 35 feet,
Yeah.
for single family residential in that area. You would be the expert on that, because I'm in shoreline, we're in the shoreline, which is the resort
So I think our set residential single family is 35 feet.
35.
In the
in
MDA.
the MDA, right?
And, yeah, so the question will
And
be,
it's
how do you define
chimneys and
finished
vents.
grade?
Yeah, right.
It started as
Because
natural,
It's the
the cut, or the
When your house goes 20,
That's
30
what I'm
feet back
worried.
into the hill, you could have a 15-foot difference. in
may
grade.
be ambiguous. I will do some research, yeah.
So it's, maybe the DRC is the way to handle it, like you say, because I think changing the MDA would probably be difficult. But it's not defined. It's not defined in the R-SPA, it's not defined in the MDA, because I looked up both.
Okay,
It just says natural grade.
yeah, that's what we discussed.
And it,
Yeah.
Which for flat land is fine, but you know,
Right.
you don't have any flat land.
it could block views if you determine that it's further back and it goes up 35 feet.
Right.
It could block people's views, and that's one of the things our general plan says we're trying to do is preserve everybody's view.
That's right.
So,
We're stuck with old code on some of this stuff.
yeah.
And that's why we rewrote that, because I was there when we rewrote
Because
that.
we had
The
to give a
problem is
metric,
that doesn't, supersede the original code, then you
Right.
gotta go back to the DRC and, whatever. But let's see if we can't get a better fix on that.
Yeah, and I'll
And
go,
maybe we can
by
talk
tonight,
about
yeah.
that going forward with our negotiations, so I'll leave that as a
Yeah.
separate issue.
and generally the DRC has
Clarity
been
would
pretty
be
good to
better,
work with, yeah.
Anything else on public comments? Okay, so we'll close public comment and we'll move on to, I think, the mayor's report, and I'm gonna keep this reasonably short. As a number of, there's been so much out on wildfire, we're in stage 2, which stage 2 is all of stage 1 plus, don't put any combustibles within 3 feet of your cooking areas outside your grills, that kind of thing. I think that's the only addition. The other thing we wanted to add, and I wanna make sure, Corbin, you get this, is we wanna add to our own code, no parking on, in grassy areas by contractors, cause I'm seeing a lot of that. Admittedly, they're trying to get off the street, but at the same time, we're causing potentially a fire issue.
Catalytic converter over that tall grass we have over there. I've seen so many trucks and vans parked on the grass, I'm like.
I don't know how we deal with this one because, we never had the wildfire be so
Right.
predominant
Right.
in our town or even probably in our state. So, yeah, if you can add that, I think Rachel wanted that. And there's at least 2 other people
Yeah,
who were
I mentioned it,
HOA.
yeah.
People in other parts said the same thing, so, let's figure a good wording for that, I guess.
Okay.
What I would say. And the other 2 things, are more fun stuff. Next Saturday, there's July 18th event at Larry Court. We've got 2 members right here who live pretty close. And the Silver King Rocking Band, between 6 and 9. And I'll send out another invite flyer tomorrow, to remind everybody. It doesn't have a lot of, Peter, feel free to jump in. I think we have a low count. And one thing we were thinking is, should we just make this free? I mean, the town would have to eat about another $900, so to speak, but anyway, I would love some input on that, since we've already invested X. And then there's the August 29th event, which is at Public Works, the discographers that we had last year, if you remember, are gonna be there, and good cover, I think these are both good cover bands. So we have two events, one coming up and one.
I could make a couple comments.
Sure.
There's an Eagles tribute band that's playing in Heber the same night that I know a lot of people have signed up for. And there's also other concerts, with the
I know.
different venues, and I think that's your issue.
I think you're totally right.
There's so many concerts going on that night.
There's even a party that night, somebody's having a party, I know the person, and so I texted them last night and said, I apologize for all of that, to
Right.
mix up. And I don't know, can you do both?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you move the party to the concert?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an idea.
There's a big thing in Walsburg that happens once a year, and that's the
We're in
same
summer,
night.
so
Yeah, I mean, it's
I don't know
just.
what else to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the issue here, and Peter could jump in, was the band, the Silver King Rocking Band, was not available any other night. Other than
Correct.
this particular Saturday, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
Was that right, Peter?
That's accurate, yeah.
So, anyway, we're trying to drum up attendance at both of these. And so, pass it on to your neighbors and buy some tickets, and if you guys have any ideas of how to increase ticket sales, I think we're all yours as well. But you're right, it's competition time.
Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah, oh,
Okay,
hot air balloon or a sky rider coming across. Probably cost more than the event.
that's all I had on the mayor's side. I'm sure I've got plenty more, but let's move on. Do we have, what's the time here at this point? What's on the budget? So we can get into the agenda items. And this is a great time for Ben to jump in here. Ben, are you on?
He is.
And after.
Yeah, I'm here.
Quiz, thank you, Ben. There's a quiz
You
on
got
all
me?
the news within
Well, welcome.
I was not being mean, I was just being facetious, that's all. Hey, Ben, if you wanna take it away?
Okay, thank you. I think, so I've got the audit, the financial audit to present. And the most important part is page 1 and 2, which apparently I was looking at your packet, does not include my audit reports. That was, unfortunately, there was a few corrections in that original audit financial statements that you probably have a copy of. And I had Kyle at Polaris make those adjustments, and he didn't get them back to me till early this afternoon. And so I sent Carrie an updated packet probably a couple of hours ago. So I apologize on that. But basically, the paragraph reads, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly all the material respect and respective financial position of the governmental activities, business type activities, each major fund in the aggregate remaining fund information of the Hideout town as of June 30th, 2025, and the respective changes in financial position and cash flows where applicable, and respective budgetary comparison for the general fund thereof for the year then, and in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Basically, that's giving you an unmodified opinion, a clean opinion of the financials as they are presented there. So in that are the governmental funds and the proprietary funds, which is your water fund, and then governmental funds which provide the services for the city or for the town. There's a couple of other reports that would be at the back. One is estate compliance, making sure that we're in compliance with rules and regs that the state has, and that's maintained or regulated by the state auditor's office. And in there, we did have a couple of findings. And I know you probably don't have my management letter, but of that.
Can you share your screen?
I can't. I don't actually have it up. Let me see if I can find
Or,
get.
You wanna send me?
yeah, tell us what page you're on, because there's quite a lot of pages in here. And,
Well-
you can.
Yeah, and like I said, my reports weren't in that original page, and
Yeah, we
that was
don't-
just
It's not in the packet, yeah.
no, it's not,
No.
unfortunately.
I
Yeah.
don't have that, I'm ready to get that. I'm so
Like I
sorry.
said, there was some corrections, and it was just updated early this afternoon.
We'd love to see what your executive summary is here at some point then on this, if you have one.
Would you like to email it to me and I can pull it up or?
Yeah, yep, let me do that. Um,
Because in the docs we have here, I saw no executive summary findings, other kind of
And I don't know what.
compilation of what, what it means
I-
to us.
yeah. Let's see. Who am I emailing it to?
Probably Maria.
Sorry, me, Maria. Do you want me to email you? You.
I think I have it here. Just a minute. Let's see if I can get that to come up. Whoops, wrong. That's not. Uh,
Ralph, is there a timing issue or some deadline with respect to this audit? Well, it's us reviewing it and approving it.
Ben, can you give us can you answer Peter's question with a little bit?
What's that again?
I asked if there's a timing, is there some sort of deadline that the town needs to have reviewed and approved your audit by?
The audit. Whoops, how come that didn't go through? The audit is actually due 6 months after the fiscal year. So
So
this one is for 2025 is late.
okay.
I think what Peter's getting at is we could defer this to the next meeting and
But
Well,
if
yeah, I
you're
was
wanting to
thinking-
review
well,
it, the
yeah,
front-
for us to review it, since we don't have it, I think it's
Yeah.
important. It's important that everybody have time to review it. I'm gonna
Okay.
suggest that we table this, Ralph.
okay,
That's fine with me. I mean, we've had a rough time getting a hold of you, Ben. And so if there's some pieces and documents that weren't included, we got in late. But, two things that I would ask for in any audit, where, what were what are the results, what are the findings? What are the action items we take away on that? How can we improve? And so, I didn't see, again, I didn't see that in this
Right.
document. So,
And I've got that finished and I apologize. I had a couple of findings. I sent them to Carrie for a response. Uh, I never got it back till later this afternoon and I hurried and put it together. Unfortunately, it didn't get in the packet, so we can postpone this and have it ready for you for your next
okay,
council meeting. We
yeah,
can get that submitted.
our next council date is August, what, Marianne? We got the
Uh,
calendar coming.
August 13th.
So Ben, are you available August 13th at somewhere between 5 and 7?
Yeah, I should be able to, yeah, that should work.
Yeah, so, if you can distribute any of these additional documents to Maria and myself,
Okay.
if it's fine. And then, there's a lot of numbers here. I'm a numbers guy, finance guy. There's a couple of people at the table probably the same, but there's so much in here.
Yes.
Usually you ask for these situations in a business, what's your summary? What are the executive findings and what are our action items that we need to take away to improve our current position? So, we'd love to
Okay.
know what the trends are as well, so, any along that, and if you wanna just call me, Ben, we can kind of walk through that for a second and to make this, cause I don't think anybody at this table wants to read all of these numbers.
Right. I understand that.
All right,
Okay.
so we'll put this on for, again, what was the date?
August 13th,
August 3rd,
Thursday.
second Thursday of the month.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben.
You bet. Thank you.
We need a motion to put that over.
This is just discussion presentation. Or do we? I don't know. Yeah.
We
do it.
Yeah, no, I just, yeah. So Ben's coming back on all this. Well, we can stay on the agenda items. Actually, we're moving through this. I know Maria has a flight tonight at midnight, so we're trying to get her out of here by 8:30, so she makes her plan. We have the next one, which is you, Corbin, review and consideration for the grant compliant and non-disclosure NDA for the EDC, which and you also compressed it.
Yes.
The NDA, I thought it was too long, so I think you're down to 4 pages versus 9 or something.
Yeah.
And nobody does 9 pages NDAs anymore, not my business.
Yeah,
So
so
you wanna
that-
take this away, yeah?
yes, that got circulated. So we had circulated the longer version. And then the mayor asked me, hey, look, simplify this as much as you can. We did the best we could to try to make it as short as possible and still protect the city. That was included in your packet. I'm hoping that have had the opportunity to review it. And so it's pretty straightforward. And this is what we will give, instead of people coming to us and saying, you sign our NDA, we will be giving this to them. And surprisingly, we've had 2 or 3 requests. It's a short period of time, so this will be something that we would use. So it's available and we just need to get it approved, so this is our formal NDA that we send out.
Any thoughts on this? Did you look at it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get shorter.
That's good.
I have a question. If push comes to shove, what's the enforcement mechanism? Is it injunctive relief? What, if somebody insists on sharing things, who signed one of these, what remedies do we have?
Well, it's normally going to be people coming to us, right? I mean, it's them coming to us and saying, I've got ideas, I've got this, I've got that. And so this is to protect us from, making it very clear that we don't get sued, right? And so it's like, you designate what you think is this, you designate, all those kinds of things. And then on our side, we now have clarity on what we can't disclose, right? So that's really where it is. So it's more legal protection for us. Yeah.
I feel like the danger that they're only worth the paper they're written on. Cause once it's disclosed and then the damage is claimed, right?
Once it becomes public, any
Can't go back.
information, you know, it's outside the
Yeah.
NDA. I probably signed 200 of these, and I've never been in a situation where someone came back and said, you infringed on our intellectual property rights, so.
It'll be rare that we have someone who truly comes in with that, but we've had requests, right? People come in and want to sit with the county or the city and say, we're thinking about this. Or they don't want it to be made public, or maybe they're thinking of bringing in something, you know, whatever type of a business. And it's okay, if that's what it takes, then we can, you know, we can sign it, we've got it there and we'll see.
Yeah, the other one, and I can't remember, because it's been a few days since I read this, did we put a time bogey on this, meaning?
2 years.
Was it 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Great, okay, just wanted to.
It was a
double check.
reasonable amount.
Yeah, okay, that's fair, that's a fair number, even 3 is fair.
You can always re-execute it if you.
Yeah.
extend it, right? So it's-
Yeah,
don't
I think it works. It's short and it's plain English.
So if there's no other questions, you could make the motion to adopt this.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the confidentiality agreement as proposed.
A second.
Peter seconds. John,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Thanks, Kevin. How are we doing on time here?
Pretty great.
Okay.
Roll along.
We just need to stop at 6 for Garrett. He's gonna jump in here. So, and guess what? That might be the next item on the agenda.
It is.
And so, we're not doing the fee and rates. We dropped that off, right?
Right, so that's the public hearing, but I think we're on number 4 in the agenda, so if you skip that, I think we have number 5.
I mean, we can take call 4, let me give an update real quick, and then we can come back to it when Gareth is available, but there's a few things that I do want to go over there so that everybody understands where we are. You wanna do that there?
Well, we have, okay, just, so we've knocked these 2 off, we've got that. We'll wait for Garrett, and what was the other one? We had the AI policy.
The AI policy, I needed to add one thing to that, to be honest, I was focusing on the code enforcement one. And so there's like 1 or 2 lines I need to add onto that, and I did not get it done. So if we can just table that one, I will get it added and we'll come back and we'll adopt that.
Yeah. And Tanya had a bunch of comments as well, and I had a number. For one, I think it says town something. There is no town administrator anymore, so it would have to go to me as this chief information officer, so to speak, compliance officer on this. We have to name one for the state. So
Everyone has to wear 3 hats, right?
well, it's probably me or you, Brian. I hate to say that.
I know.
At this point, you know, but right now, it's, you know, we need to edit that out. There are a few other edits, I can send them to you.
Yeah, if you could.
Tanya had some really good comments as well. Sometimes the scope of this is so broad, how do you narrow it down?
Yeah.
And, because then you're kind of left open. But in general, I thought it was good. I shared this with you. I just attended the meeting with the state CIO, Chief Information Officer. He had a group of 35 execs come in from all, you know, from UDOT, all the top tech. I was telling Brian.
Yeah, I read that, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I sent you that,
Yeah.
and to establish a technology policy for the state, for the government. And obviously, we started with quantum computing
Yeah,
discussion.
it's just
Went
crazy.
to robotics, went to energy, and then we went to AI.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot here that,
It's exploding.
that's under this, so. Obviously, the governor wants to create a forward-looking policy to that. And, I was the only mayor there, but of course, probably the only person who wanted to do it less. So, but it was probably my most interesting meeting. I think we need to get this right. I'm using AI right now for the town or to prepare reports, Brian, and
Transfer.
Carol,
Yeah.
you know, we've been using them to kind of do some grunt work, I would call it.
Yep.
And it's fast and you just, all the stuff in the policy which says a human in the loop to look at all the material, and that's what we're doing. And, but you got, you got 45 pages that you didn't have to type out.
Yep.
So, anyway, that's where we're going. I think we need just good policies around the structure of how we maintain our data, who we use as our AI models, because that's in that document a lot. Like, who's gonna make decisions, and then again, might be a recommending body of a couple of council people or something of that nature. Anyway, food for thought, going forward.
Okay,
Very good.
Okay,
I'll take that, and then if you can kick me over your proposed edits, and if you had proposed edits.
I did, and you'll see them, and I'm happy to do a phone call.
Yeah.
My primary concern with this is when governance outpaces operational capacity, you open yourself for liability. And I just feel like the town is not operationally able to, we're gonna have a football underneath this agreement.
Got it.
And I'd rather have none.
Yeah.
Right, so, we
Yeah,
can
we can
spend,
talk about that.
yeah, we can spend some time.
Probably needs to start simpler maybe, to Tanya's point, not get ourselves wrapped around the axle, but as we define functions we want to do and use it for, then we just have to keep on with this document.
yeah, this is moving so fast, it's unbelievable,
Can't predict all the.
No, you can't.
Is this proposed policy based on another town, something else we've seen from another similar sized municipality? Or did you do this from scratch, Corbin?
Yes.
Everybody everywhere.
I pulled from
doing it.
as many as I could find.
Okay.
And then put it together, yeah.
Got it,
So,
okay. I thought it looked pretty, it was the first, very good first cut at it,
Right.
so.
It's just, it's broad. And like, well, we don't even have a document management system.
No, that's the other problem, so we don't have a records
We
management.
don't have a retention policy.
No, we have no retention policy, well, we have to meet state retention
Well,
policy.
that,
But we really don't have anything, and that is, so going forward, if, assuming we hire this mid-level person, I'd like to, but there's not a lot of people that necessarily know records management systems as well. So, we may need to, understand how we tackle that problem.
yes,
And it's an important problem.
yeah, and then you have to, right?
And once you establish that, you can put a meta tag against the document and say, you can't use this in an AI model.
Well, then you can govern it. We don't have the operational functionality to govern yet.
So
And
we have to,
that's my primary concern.
Right.
So,
Yeah, this policy is definitely gonna be updated as we.
Yeah.
But no reason why we can't do that. Right?
No, I agree, but we need 3 pages, not 8.
Yeah, I agree with you, you don't wanna get too far ahead, right,
Yeah.
cause you can trip over yourself doing it.
Agreed.
But yeah, I think the document / records management system is pretty high, I think it's pretty high on our list already, right?
I can't find anything, so, I mean, the MDAs, that we've searched for,
Yeah.
it's absurd. You should be able to just say,
Yeah.
two search words, and you should be able to get what you want, so we just don't have it.
One of my jobs a few years ago was designing, building and delivering the first electronic records archives for NARI. So I'm a little bit familiar with retention policies and all that. And we did the,
Well, Brian, you will be picked on.
you can pick on me, you can pick on me. But
Thank you for volunteering.
Yeah, no, I'm not volunteering for that.
Sadly familiar
Yeah, you'll probably have me in there with you, because we'll,
Yeah, you
I know
obviously,
these
yeah.
systems and companies. I don't wanna make this expensive, complicated.
We want a good commercial solution.
Yeah, but something
It
that
doesn't have to be gold
we can
plated.
grow with and,
Doesn't have to be a NARA system. Preservation for lifetime. 100 years plus.
and,
That was a
and
tough one.
we also need, if we're gonna do any, what I would call mid to lower range hiring, we need to match their capabilities.
Their skills to
what
go
we
with.
want. Or we hire a consultant to do this.
Right.
And we don't put it on anybody's plate,
Yeah.
so to speak, we just give them the design direction.
Well, you know, it's a good system. Makes it pretty obvious and easy for what the people that use it have to do. I mean, it will remind you if you're not doing something, right? So, or it just does it automatically, you know, it logs what you did and all that stuff. So,
Well, it should log every
Every-
edit to a document,
right,
who did it and at what time.
yeah.
And so, then you have a record.
And you should be able to easily retrieve that record.
Yeah.
Like for a grandma request or something, right? So, yeah.
And obviously.
It's not rocket science.
Each document should have, who's authority to edit? Yes, you do.
Yes,
I can read it, but I
yeah,
can't.
right.
So none of that do we have, and then that becomes a feed into the AI system.
Yes.
And you can, you know, almost pay less attention to, because you've established your policies. And do you know anybody, any other town? that's
I
doing it
actually
before?
talked to a couple of them. I talked to Brad over in Midway and asked, what do you use? He actually has his own system that he has just developed. He's been there for 20 some odd years, and I call him and I say, I need this document. He has it to me in 5 minutes. And I don't know if that's a great solution for us. I'm positive that there are other.
Well, the county uses On Base, I know Don Ward, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
Don would be a
maybe,
great resource.
yeah, maybe if we can piggyback on what the county's using, we can maybe even get a deal out of that.
Yeah, we might,
Brian, do you wanna go and you, so,
yeah, I could take that actually. if you want.
yeah,
Talk to the county.
I know him, and he's implementing an AI policy for the county as well, so I talked to him.
Might be a twofer.
Yeah, he was at our meeting in Heber when we met with,
Okay.
you know, Chief Hales and Jeremy and those guys, so. I pinned him on it and I said, what are you guys doing?
If you got his contact info, just ship it to me and
Alright.
I'll introduce myself again.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to go.
So
That's a
then
good
I'll,
place to start.
make a motion to table this AI policy.
After all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think we have, it just was just, oh,
It was,
it
there's a.
it wasn't
resolution.
adopted.
It was,
It was,
yeah.
yeah. So
I'll
I'll make a
second.
motion to table, thanks.
Alright, moving on.
And
You gotta
Well,
vote.
we gotta vote for it.
We gotta vote.
Good try.
Wouldn't it
Nice
be
try.
nice to just move on?
Did anyone second the motion?
Motion for that?
yeah, I made the motion to table the AI policy.
And I
I'll
said,
second.
So I heard Tanya. And then Brian, I heard Peter there, so
Yeah.
I'll ask you first, Peter,
Yes,
Carol,
Yes.
John,
Yes,
Brian,
yes,
and
Yes.
move this off. What else we have here, I don't know, we're getting close to 10 minutes to 6, but is Gareth, are you on by any chance? Maybe we can move on. Well, if not, do you wanna go to, well, we gotta fill in here, if it's unusual part. We can do committee updates, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Thomas,
Sure. So with regard to planning commission, our meeting is scheduled for next week. We may have some conflicts. We may push it to the following week. We don't have any formal applications, i.e. no subdivisions, nothing formal to review. So what the planning commission has asked for, in terms of a review and discussion is an overview of an update for the general plan status and timeline. And based on the work session that you all had with them on the 30th of June, a little bit of a follow-up with regard to housing. And then they are going to discuss annexation declaration area policies, some recommendations for potential change to that. So that was also brought up at the meeting on the 30th. So we are in policy mode, planning commission policy mode at the next planning commission meeting, no formal apps.
a lot of policy floating around. here.
Yes,
Okay, that's it, Tom,
that's it.
thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brian and John,
the permanent fire station site continues to be excavated and moving forward. So far as I'm aware, they're on target for a late October-ish, give or take a little bit, opening and permanent operations. And that's something that'll be terrific.
Now, it looks like they're fully excavated. They've got the wall in the back.
Yeah, I
It
saw
looks like
that.
it's underway. Yeah,
Shotcreted it?
yeah, shotcreted in, yeah.
Are they gonna line that with rock?
I don't know. I initially thought there was going to be a support structure there and that was gonna be the back of the building, but it may be that there's a little bit of space between it.
Well, the building's gonna cover it up, so it doesn't.
Yeah, you won't see it. Yeah, so even if there is space, they've got the shotcrete to prevent erosion.
It's mighty impressive how fast they're going.
Yeah,
Other news from infrastructure, the, phase 4 of Shoreline 4.1, I guess, has been approved. It resolved, well, let me back up. We had soil tests, which I actually, personally observed along with Stefan Meach from Public Works. And we sat there a while, and by the way, kudos to GCD because they brought their own excavation equipment in, so it cost us a lot less. We just had to pay the assessor's office that does that work. They dug down as far as they could go, like 7 feet deep, in 5 different locations that have been provided by John Leone from his mountain biking experience. Then they took samples at I can't remember, like every couple of feet or every foot and a half or a foot. I mean, the guy took individual samples from that, we dumped them separately in separate piles. Did it very well. About a week and a half later, the results came back and said absolutely no hydrocarbons. There are some trace heavy minerals, but well within the EPA guidelines. So no issues with the soil, so that's good. The last issue was with discharge into the reservoir with BOR. It turns out the real issue there is BOR was unaware of all the development around here for the last 15 years. And they say they don't have regulation, although they're responsible for regulating discharge, drainage into the lake, into the reservoir. They don't have any regulations for it. So the Department of Water Quality for the state has been doing that job. But they report to the EPA, not to the BOR. So they've got the problem with the EPA and the BOR obviously aren't talking. And so now BOR is going, oops, we pointed out all the other development around, right? So what GCD did to mitigate that, at least temporarily, is for the first phase, when we can allow us to put in the new sewer line, them to put in the new sewer line, and decommission the old Dead Man Gulch lift station. They're gonna build that one road that goes like in the middle of the complex along there, and they'll build about 35 homes. And they are going to build a retention pond as opposed to a detention pond. It won't allow anything to escape into just by natural evaporation and soil absorption. They're not gonna allow anything to go into the reservoir. And hopefully that'll buy enough time for BOR to figure out how they're gonna rate it. Right.
So 2 questions there, Brian. In their MDA, do they have the right to build that retention pond?
Well, it's listed as temporary, right? Because it can't be final.
Do they have the right to do even a temporary pond pursuant to their MDA? Doesn't matter if it's temporary. They had to have a right to do it, don't they?
Our engineering department, right, which approved it. They approved the building permit. So it's gone through the permitting process properly.
Okay, so the answer to that, I guess, is yes.
In order to do that, right?
yeah, and Peter, just so you're aware, the area that is now the retention pond that will retain the water permanently was the location where there was a detention, which would just detain it for a period before it would flow out. So it's in the same location. It's worth noting that buildings 31 and 32 that were on the plat for phase 4, those have been removed because they had to expand the area to retain the water rather than detain the water. So that was their solution. And they worked that through the Bureau of BOR and certainly Dennis, the town engineer.
And my other question is, I know this predates me. I know that when the town sat down with GDC and went through phase 4, they put together a rather lengthy list of requirements. and conditions to that building permit, who was responsible for ticking and tying and making sure all of those enumerated things were accomplished?
That's HAL, yeah.
So that will also be Dennis, the town engineer, and myself as the town planner. It's worth noting that phase 4.1, the construction, the subdivision construction permit that was approved is just for the infrastructure. There is not a formal subdivision named 4.1 that's being recorded. So this is only for the horizontal infrastructure and the retention basin. And so when that's completed, they will come back to actually record the subdivision. Until that time, no lots, of course, can be sold. There is no subdivision in place.
Got it. Thank
This is
you.
just
That's
the infrastructure.
helpful.
Yeah,
Got
So there's
it.
no
Thank you.
plat that's been recorded.
that's correct.
No,
That's
no,
correct. They can utilize state statute to allow them to do horizontal infrastructure. We're working with them. We bond accordingly, but there is no subdivision, hence there are no lots that can be sold as part of this.
Got it.
And the benefit to the town is we get our sewer infrastructure to
Much more quickly.
Okay,
And along
Got
those lines, someone asked Corbin, did we get any response from Rocky Mountain Power about the contract for the power upgrade for the Advantage?
We have not, so we reached out, Dennis reached out again and said, where are we? We're waiting. We sent you red lines. What's going on? We have not heard anything back.
That's not good.
No.
We need to do that in concert with
Whatever.
construction. I mean, we have a little time, but we don't have no idea how long it will take. Rocky
And
Mountain
the
Power.
folks who live there in Vantage, I had one of them in my office last night. The group there wants the old removed,
Yeah.
because there were some ideas to make that a storage building, but I talked to Dan Allen today. And I said, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, but the residents have gotten two stories, like, it's the town's fault, and it's, GC's fault. So they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, it's difficult. Anyway,
The plan has always been to decommission
Yeah.
both Dead Man Gulch and the old Vantage Station around the same time when the new infrastructure is in
Well, they
place.
need the 12-inch pipe and the upgrade on the rock.
And, yeah, so that's the hundred some odd K we have to
Yeah.
pay, yeah. But that's all been approved though, right? So.
No, the money's out there, and Dan, who was it? I think, Dan, somebody, whoever I was talking to, a couple of people, it wasn't just Dan. Said, they're already, was it you, Thomas? I don't know. They were already, started to work on the pipe, so, I think we're.
Well, they purchased the pipe because I biked down
It's
there
there,
and seen, I took pictures of these giant pallets of 12-inch pipes and I talked to Glenn. He said, oh yeah, we bought it at Hudson, we knew we had to do it. So.
So I
That's
gave
the
an
same there.
estimate of 6 months to this gentleman, Dan, who came in. And I think the estimate as well, that this is gonna move pretty fast right now.
Yeah.
Because Glenn's gotta move fast.
Oh, yeah, he's got an incentive to get that done. That's not the issue. Let's see, the last thing is, cause I don't think Dennis is on. The draft master plan for the water system has been updated, but based on feedback from everyone on the staff and on the team. But we're still waiting for the final audit results, the water audit results, because there were some errors in it, ambiguities in it, and I think Corbin's probably helping on that too, trying to make sure we really have dedicated water as opposed to reserved water.
Yes, absolutely. And
We've all had an education on that.
Yes,
What that was all determined to
I'm
be.
going through, that's one of my major projects right now.
Yeah.
It has an implication on pretty much everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping to have that done in the next week.
Okay.
And we need all those contracts reserved and dedicated
Yes.
to the town pool.
Right.
Because without that,
We don't really have,
there's always the question mark. Nobody's out there saying,
they
this,
want it for
this
something.
is the blue glass and this
Yeah.
is the green glass of water.
Right, yeah, right.
But,
Right.
we need that, that's critical. So, Corbin, where are you at again? How do you feel on this one?
Yeah, so I've got all of the door counts. I've now got all of there's a bunch of information. That I'm trying to put together to understand exactly kind of where we are underneath the MDA, the water that was turned in under the MDA, the water that's been turned in under the other approved developments. And so there's a lot of moving parts here. And we've got to do an accounting to understand where are we, so that as new developments come in, then the MDA and outside of the MDA, we've just gotta make sure that the water's all secure, and it's kind of a mind-boggling lot of different parts, so I'm parsing through it. I wanna make sure that I'm right, that I get the accurate analysis. And so I'm just going through, and it's just gonna take a minute here to get it done.
Yeah, and on the positive side for that, we've only identified one capital project, which is that in pressure regulatory valve. To go in, top of Reflection Ridge, so that the top of shoreline has enough water to fight a fire. And
Take a
that, yeah, thank you, Carol, my neighbors, like, yeah, that would be nice. So we should, now that's been approved for the 2027 budget, I believe. What's the process for kicking that off, Ralph? Do I just need to work with Hal and get a formal estimate and then, bids? Who do you want to handle that?
Well, we probably need formal bids.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
So,
There's probably more than one. Yeah.
is Dennis online? I don't even know.
No.
Let's shelve that.
Okay.
It's an engineering. thing.
But you know what I'll do is I'll just schedule a meeting for us
Yeah.
to discuss that.
Okay.
I assume we want 2 or 3,
Yeah.
probably 3 minimum bids, right?
Yeah.
And there's several different categories of the work.
So, yeah, let's do that this, not tomorrow, but.
No, next
early
week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And the other thing I was gonna add was, the other complication with, the BOR is the Central Utah Water Conservancy District.
Yes.
Who also seems to be a management body that has a lot of engineering control, but you don't hear from. It's like they're this vague entity, and there was no real engineering standards that they could even tell us that, so.
It's been the Wild West.
It wasn't easy to decipher through as to, how do we, what is the town responsible for? What liability do we have? And I think that was your big concern, so,
Yeah.
because Corbin, you were on the.
Yeah, we
call.
approved something that we don't have authority to approve, right? That's-
Yeah. And then
Which
we're
apparently has been the
We're stuck
case.
holding the bag 15 years, or someone's stuck holding the bag.
Yes.
Years from now.
That's exactly right, and the BOR stuff is concerning, we will be getting some standards, that's a difficult situation, because those systems down on that side, because they're under BOR jurisdiction potentially, and they want the city to be on the hook. We do have to be very careful, because those systems carry more liability than stuff that's across the rest of the city.
Right.
And we have to understand that and figure out how we're going to deal with it, because if something happens, and we end up in a lawsuit over contamination of water in Jordanelle.
That would be bad.
Yeah,
That would be real bad,
yeah, not fun.
And that supplies, what they say, a million people or something? like
Yeah,
that?
so there's
Well,
there's metrics there.
one of Dan Allen's biggest nightmares is that the pumps in Dead Man Gulch fail, and the detention tank that's there overflows and it's gonna go right into the.
That's the problem.
He said he would instantly resign at that point. You got the notice of that, he would be out of town. So
I'll be right behind them.
yeah, well, maybe me too. That's why I'm so concerned about getting the sewage system upgraded, right? That's the biggest priority right now.
I mean, the
The
problem.
next one is the PRD and.
Yeah.
We put these in based on state standards, right? But the problem is the BOR may have higher
Different.
standards, and they don't take jurisdiction until we run water on their property.
Mhm.
Which is the problem, right? And so if we're going, look, if we need to get something better than state standards, you need to tell us now. Don't come and talk to us after.
We built something, yeah.
Yeah, now we've got a problem. Now you're exercising jurisdiction. That doesn't work. So that's what we're talking to them about, and they're saying they're gonna get us some standards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you keep me in the loop on that?
Yes, I can do so.
And Jonathan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, mostly it impacts our committee. And one last thing, I'm sorry, this is going on and on, but I'm looking for volunteers for infrastructure, for water conservation, for public safety, which I guess let's talk a little about What was I gonna say?
Well, that's a good
That's a good start
That's a
right
good
there.
start.
Talk about your talk to Amanda.
Oh, I'll let you do that, I'll let you do it, that's your post. The, what was I gonna say? There was one other thing I was gonna say. It went over my head.
On the water supply issue, if we could get all of the documents relevant to how many acre foot the town has into one folder. Okay, where in the future, when someone has a question or a concern, we could go to that one folder and we could find the answer. Because right now.
And another folder for all the MDAs, the R spots.
I'm putting that together, it's almost done.
I'm gonna keep saying that every meeting.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to.
Okay, great.
Just get the overall picture to go, okay,
And then
Here's where
in
we
one
are.
place, you
Yes.
need all the relevant transfer documents.
yes,
Okay, true.
yes.
The last item that went over my head for a minute is the Senate. And Ralph and I, especially, been working hard on that with,
Dennis and.
with Dennis and Dan.
Dan
We're making progress on that, but, there's a lot of procedures and documentation we're gonna have to develop in concert with the county. About who, who coordinates with whom, when, who takes over, because we don't have a police force, we don't have a fire department, so we're gonna lean on the county a heck of a lot. And so we're getting Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill's just helping review all the stuff we're putting together.
Okay, that's
We
great.
had 2 hours with Jim McIntosh the other day. So
Yeah.
That helped.
It was a big help.
That was a big help. So I think, if we can get together next week sometime, we can iron out all the comments that we have and produce something that will get to the council.
Get a
And
case
it has to go through county. So there's, there's a process here, but it will go through council. But the big thing is we have to know how to react or how to act when an emergency occurs and where to go and who's doing what. That's the key. And by the way, this is the group that is responsible for that,
We called you Team One. And everywhere the document called out, emergency management director or authority, whatever, it's all Team One. It's whoever is here, I mean, starting with the mayor and coming down through the council. We gotta have people that live in the town.
Yes,
That have to start the response, and we'll set up stuff here in the town hall, and we'll go all over that once we finalize the plan.
So all these concepts are set out under the NIMS, the National Incident Management System.
Mhm.
And if you go through the training that you can get online from FEMA for free, all these questions suddenly and magically become crystal clear as to who does what, starting with the incident commander.
Well, we volunteered to take
Yep.
courses 1 and 2. I think skips a couple, it goes to 7 and 8.
Right.
So we'll do 1 and 2,
The basic introduction will be very helpful, because all of a sudden you go, bing, the incident commander runs the show. Yeah.
and we did do, what did we do, 2 days, we did 3 days, whatever we've done in Beaver, but.
And everyone on the council will have to go through that training.
So
Some of
when's
us
the
already
next
have.
one?
Hmm?
When's the next one?
No, it's online.
Someone.
Oh, online,
You
okay.
get whenever you want.
Yeah,
Right,
whatever you want.
okay. And Jonathan, I have a question for you. Are we okay with GCD letting us keep the temporary fire station there until we get the new one?
That is our current plan, is until the permanent station is up and running. Our hope is to maintain the temporary station operations, because we don't need a gap. Because that's would be a giant step backwards for the town.
Right.
So the plan is, the fire department is pushing forward as quickly as they can. Their target is the end of October-ish. To be up and running, in which case we can pull down the temporary station because we have full-time coverage at the permanent site.
Right, and GCD's, okay, we're.
So far, yes, as far as I'm aware,
Okay.
but that is the plan. And everybody seems to be on board with it.
And I think that lot is their last lot in section 3 shoreline, right? One of the last.
Probably is,
And I think they can hold on, but they can, somebody wants to buy it, they're gonna wanna vacate.
that's why we're pushing forward as quickly, the
Right.
fire department, I shouldn't say we, the fire department is pushing forward as quickly as it can. They actually have a building that's being built in in the Las Vegas area. It's in the process of being finished. It'll be loaded on the trucks, shipped down here, and they put it together on site, which is the only reason they can get from where they are now to fully operational by late October.
Is the director's on. Isn't it have all these flashing lights on it with the casino?
I doubt that.
It's coming from Las Vegas.
I doubt
You
that.
never know, better be careful, we get the right,
Yeah,
right
I think
building.
the flashing lights will be on the vehicles.
Okay, this is good break stop because we have Gareth Lloyd on to represent interstate parking. So Gareth, are you on? Hello, sir?
Here.
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
okay, uh, give us a little bit more volume on that, if you would, Gareth. You're here, so we really want to engage with you, as you know. And
Right.
I think we just got to a point where there were some edits that you sent to Corbin. I just want to make sure we got
Yes,
that piece.
let me walk you through where we went. So we adopted the contract with your edits last time. And
Okay.
the council gave permission for the mayor to work with me to get the exhibits in place. We've been working on those. We're still trying to get the maps necessary to designate where the parking stalls are, and some of the procedural aspects that are required in those. We're not done with them yet. I'm hoping to have those circulated here early next week. And then we can circle back around, get them to you, and the mayor will be able to sign off.
Great.
Corbin, did we finish I think you said we had to attach rules and regulations
Yes.
to the agreement? Is that,
Yes.
I know I sent in I was sent in a comment. Has that all been done? Or is that still in
Yes.
process?
A draft of all of those, and then working with Thomas to get the map is really kind of the biggest thing, is trying to figure out where do we have parking stalls, where's this, that, and this also leads over into the emergency access discussion that we've got on the public hearing, as far as which ones are those gonna be. We've got to add that in, and then we got to talk about the fine, because you guys have got to tell me how heavy of a fine you want on that one.
Right. Okay.
Yes. So, and then there was another question, Gareth. There are some things that the council's realizing they may want to add to the scope of
Okay.
some of the enforcement. And
Okay.
so it's like there's some issues with some signage from construction sites and things. So what I would probably say is, let me get the final version of it with all of the exhibits, the way that we agree, circulate them to you. If there are things that you think we may want to add into the scope of this, tell me. It's better to get
Sure.
it into the contract now. But I don't know what I don't know. You'll be,
Can I make a suggestion?
yeah,
Let's get this contract signed. We can always amend it and add on additional fees if we need to, but it's July 9th. When can this be signed?
well, as soon as we get all of them done. And so my expectation would be probably by the end of next week.
Okay, and the next week, that'd be great.
We're
And
gonna hold you to that because there's probably half the town right now.
Right, living on the same
Yeah,
street.
you know, we were up at, 6:30, 5:30, I think,
Yeah.
watching trucks go down, or, hearing trucks, so, we need, and Gareth, we'd like you to tackle as much as you can tackle, so to speak, so.
Sure.
Like this morning at 5:30, there was these construction, concrete trucks rolling down narrow streets and causing noise before 7 AM. So
Right.
is something you would be monitoring in part of the contract, as an example?
Right. Yeah, no, once Corbin's got everything together, I'll go right through it, and, we're pretty close from my side, so, yeah.
Well, we might be throwing more stuff at you than you originally thought. I think that was my point, so.
Sure.
If that's negotiable, but that it means
Sure.
more fine, so.
Sure.
Since
Well,
you're.
I sit on the side with Tanya. Let's get this signed, and we can always amend it and add other services to it, in the next month or so.
I agree with you, Peter. Let's
Yeah.
get it signed. I'm just asking Gareth, since we have them and been difficult to get to them, I'm asking you, Gareth, can we, to the point that we're making here, can we expand services, and give you additional compliance regulations that we would like you to enforce? So,
Yeah, we can totally do that. I just need to research them. Those are ones that we haven't enforced before, so I would just have to do some background checks and whatnot to make sure on legalities and whatnot.
I have a question. Over the years, we have encouraged residents to take pictures or videotape of active violations. If a resident takes a picture or a videotape of an active violation that includes a license plate.
Yeah.
Do you have a mechanism by which to run that plate and get the owner's information, like their name and their address and so on and so forth, for the purposes of service of a summons?
Yeah, so we have the ability in Utah to do license plate searches. We have not ever like allowed somebody privately to do that. It's always been us that's, taking the picture of the plate, because we have software that we use, handhelds, et cetera, that are all part of the process. So
I think
yeah.
what Jonathan was saying was if the resident could forward that either through the town or directly to you, they wouldn't be doing it. We're just asking you, could you use that as evidence for enforcement?
So you're saying what would happen in that, usually in that case, is we'd be notified of it, and then we would go and check out the situation and take the pictures or the relevant. Yeah. I don't think we want to get in a situation where we're getting videotapes from residents and then trying to, that's
So it sounds like we need a reporting hotline kind of thing.
Yeah. We'll have a website where you can contact us. I think you've seen some of the websites we have for all the municipalities we do, and you can get in touch with us. And if there's an issue, we'll get to it as soon as we can.
So if I'm understanding correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying that if a resident observes a violation, takes videotape or photographs, including the vehicle license, the offending vehicle's license plate, you're saying that that is not something that you would choose to take on and enforce?
What I'm saying is we would have to go there and use our handhelds and take a picture of it. Yeah, we can't just take a picture from a resident and enforce that. We have to be there and take a picture of it ourselves, and it goes into our system.
What if the resident was willing to appear at a hearing and lay the foundation for the photograph and the violation? Is it still something you're not willing to enforce?
Yeah, I'd have to research that. I'm pretty uncomfortable with that. Because our whole system is designed to, we don't do that anywhere. We get in situations where residents are sending pictures and then we're trying to enforce it and our people haven't witnessed it. That just opens a whole nother can of worms.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My question is, how soon can you get there?
Well, we've got, we're not, the pricing and whatnot we've got in the contract, we've got numerous locations in the area. So it's dependent on the situation in terms of, what time we can get there. So I can't really say, unequivocally what time we'll be there. What happens in these programs is over time, the word gets out, the signage, the website, and the fact that it goes to collections and you resolve the problem. So, the way we price the program on a monthly basis, if you start to think about the cost of travel, labor, etc., it's the idea is to provide a reasonable flat fee monthly and invoke the entire program with the website, all the communications and the ability to go to collections, and you'll see the change in behavior you're looking for.
So essentially, unless your people observe and photograph or videotape the violation, if I understand you correctly, you're saying there will be no enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, I'm not, honestly, I'm not gonna go in a situation if a resident, like anybody can take a picture of a car and we cannot legally use that, and then, because that just, I mean, how do we know if it's legitimate or not? So, I mean, I think we need to talk right now, because this is a program that's designed and it's been legally tested, and I don't, you know, the way we do it is our people come and they use the handheld, and it's not a videotape, it's a picture, and we put the sign in the background, and it's legally binding in Utah. So yeah, I'm not comfortable at all having residents taking pictures and then us trying to enforce that.
No, it's easy to lay the foundation. If the person taking the photograph appears at the hearing and lays the foundation, essentially says, I personally took this picture, it is just as it appeared on that date, and it has been unmodified, it's admissible. But it doesn't matter, because you're not gonna prosecute it anyway.
No, I'm not comfortable with that at all.
Well, I'll make a suggestion. Right now, we have nothing. So let's take a step forward, try and get this signed. Let's see what level of effectiveness we have. I think, Gareth, we can direct your team to certain areas within the community that has more activity, shall I say, than others, which should give you a running start and go from.
Totally.
We're at 0.
Here we're at 0, all right, good.
Good step forward.
And so I think we want to move ahead, but you know, we're probably throwing more stuff at you than
Just park it.
yeah, than just parking. So I'd say, yeah, 10, you know, if we can get started, let's see at least where this goes, but we have to supplement something along the way. Yeah.
I'm thinking about finding a uniform.
All
I'll do the early morning patrol.
right, we all got badged here.
All right,
So so next Friday,
Yep.
we expect to sign this, get all the documents in place. Any maps that need to be done, Thomas, you said you were gonna get those in.
I sent over a draft map today to
Oh,
Chase,
perfect.
and so we should review that and make sure that is, if it needs revisions, let me know.
Okay, perfect, that's great.
Okay,
Yeah, that's great.
thank you, Gareth.
Okay, thanks everyone.
And hopefully we can move forward. You have my contact and we'll just work from there. How's that?
Yeah, totally. I left Corbin a message today, so yeah, as soon as you're ready, send it over and I'll go through it. And yeah, I mean, the thing to realize is we're doing this in over 20 municipalities now and 6 or 7 ski resorts in Utah, and it's working really well. So same technology, same methodology, same people. And you know, the goal is always to get the change in behavior you're looking for.
We do that, that's a positive step forward.
Exactly.
Sounds good.
Any other questions or thoughts or any last comments again? Well, if not, then we'll continue to move on.
Great.
And well, thank you, Gareth, for.
Thanks, everyone.
And I'm
Appreciate it.
sure we'll probably have more questions along the way. There's no doubt.
Oh,
about it.
totally. Yeah.
So we are at 6:26. We finished most of these. We're going into the 6:30 session. I say we take a 5-minute break and come back and go into the public hearing. Is that good? So we're back at 6:31.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it was actually. Maybe they're. When they wrote it, wasn't. Here it is, you know. So we get. He claims, I think that I should do.
Oh, right. So what is it on our?
On our hideout.
Oh.
We're in official.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda at the 6:30 point is review and appointment termination, Jan Makasha. Jan, want my open?
First, I'm happy to see the audit finally made it on the agenda. We've been waiting for 6 months, waiting for the risk from our legal counsel, so that was a relief for me. Thank you, council and mayor, for letting me address you on this matter of Mayor Herman. For those of you who don't know me online or whatever, my name is Jan McCosh. I've lived in Park City in the 84098 zip code for about 30 years. I raised my kids here. I come from a long history of pioneers in Utah. My father's ancestors founded Draper. My mother grew up in Camas. I have many connections and relationships in the region. I have over 30 years of financial management experience, mostly in law firms. I have an undergrad in finance, certificate in municipal finance from the University of Chicago. I've taken several post-grad classes in city and municipal planning, and I have a Juris Doctorate from the University of Utah. In 2019, when I joined the town, we had 2 full-time employees. Over the past 7.5 years, I've been working with all of you to build the city. A municipal financial consultant with Zions claimed that Hideout has the most difficult issues in the state. I understand that. I'm proud of what we've built together. Working for the public has been more than rewarding. Being in service of my fellow man has brought serious joy, despite the challenging work. Most recently, the town was awarded a $150,000 grant, given my work with all in the region to get support for a transportation master plan that includes multimodal trails. Getting a grant requires relationships of trust and working collaboratively. I've set up a technical advisory committee through my relationships. I'm proud of the connections of trust that I've established in the community. Grants are not, in all caps, awarded by AI. They require hard work and collaboration. On June 11th, I entered a closed session of the town council. The meeting was opened and then I was dismissed. I waited upstairs. I was terminated by Mayor Severini because of an alleged reorganization at about 5:30 p.m. with council reading me the severance agreement in the mayor's office. I asked if I was expected to attend the public meeting, given my termination date was May 12th, 26. The mayor replied that it was a public meeting, and I was welcome to attend or not. I left my laptop and keys and went down to get my personal belongings. The closed session was still in progress. I learned that Maria had graciously retrieved my jacket and put it in my office, so I took it and left. Thank you. I don't know what actions took place in closed session. Given that there are 3 attorneys on the council and 2 more in the closed session, all of whom are trained on the Utah Open Public Meeting Act as recently as February 26th, I'm guessing that they didn't vote to terminate me in that closed session, but stranger things happen. I will have to get the details and discovery. First, Mayor Severini didn't have authority to terminate me because the Hideout code says I must be terminated by advice and consent of the council. See Hideout 1.12060 of Hideout Town Code. And possibly in a category of administrative leave, given I don't have the ability to do my work without access to my keys, computers, etc. Second, my termination was pretextual, given the reorganization was never discussed prior to the meeting that ensued after I was terminated. I was never given an opportunity to be heard until now. I have unpaid time off, health insurance benefits, my URS benefits that are significant. It's why we work for public service. Carol Hazelton knows that as a school teacher. They affect our future. They've apparently been terminated. Third, my termination was likely because the mayor was asked to terminate me in collusion with the developer. Scott Dubois had grandma requested 5 years of my email earlier in the month. May I read from my planner on December 16th, 25, which I noted at 2:45 p.m. Discussion about getting on the same page. 2 things, Mustang and Mida. I asked, is Mustang asking you to fire me? Basically, that's what he's suggesting. You know, I either move on with you or without you. He's got it out for you, and I have to work with him. I don't have personal animosity. I think if you look at my email, you'd be hard pressed to find a disparaging comment, is what I replied. I asked to see the message from Martino, was texted to him. And basically it said, I talked bad about him, about infrastructure, and that's not good, and especially like the settlement agreement. I asked the mayor if he had listened to my comments. He had not. Fourth, my termination was retaliatory because I pointed out on several instances to council members, financial staff, our budget, resident consultant, legal counsel, and others that there was gross financial mismanagement of taxpayer resources happening. For example, a contract was signed without the conditions that were imposed in a public meeting by council member Gunn. There was a 2x2 with LHM MIDA to move forward with MIDA funding that would have resulted in a $7 million deficit spend to the taxpayers over a 10-year period. I met with LHM MIDA in a meeting earlier in the year, and in that meeting told them we needed to do financial modeling to find what was in the best interest of all of us. After that meeting, I was cut out from the future discussions with MIDA and LHM, despite the fact that I'm the administrator of the Silver Meadows annexation area, the 350 acres of Richardson Flat. I had Wasatch County Manager Dustin Graybaugh on the agenda to discuss the MIDA Mayflower project in a public meeting to get the council and Hideout finance team involved in modeling the project with the help of Dustin and Rich from Wasatch County. I asked Katie Shepley, our resident financial consultant, to help do financial modeling. There were still questions remaining, so I reached out to a financial consultant who could help. Mayor Dickey suggested Eric Damans with Zions Municipal Finance to both me and Mayor Severini in a meeting for newly elected officials and city management. I reached out to Eric for some modeling assistance. He produced a report and presented it to our finance team in person with the mayor and our town planner, Thomas Eddington, Councilmember Brady, Katie Shepley, and our finance manager joined remotely. The report showed a $7 million deficit spend under the existing MIDA agreement. This would have been a huge burden to Hideout residents had the council approved the standard MIDA agreement that we have under an ILA with MIDA and Wasatch County. I had a duty to act in the best interest of the town, and especially given my task of administrator of the MBA. The document is a public document. The state and MIDA can be a powerful partner. We must do it with financial knowledge and transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. At this point, Corbin, do we open it up to public comment?
Yeah.
Okay, so, given that, I'm gonna open up the public comment. Anyone online have any comments? Anyone in the room have any comments? Tom?
Hi, Donna Turner, 11175 North Shoreline Drive. Am I allowed to comment on anything not on the agenda tonight? Is this an open comment?
But at this point, it's only comment.
Yeah, it's only comment on the public hearing, what we're just dealing with right now.
Okay, that just wanted to make sure I wanted to clarify that before I went. Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. I know what you were talking about, but we went through that before. Anyone else, online? I don't know who's online, so. Okay, well then, I guess we can close public comment. And then at this point, we will go, I'd like a motion to go into closed session. And is there anyone who will make that motion from the council?
And specifically, if you're going in, it would be to discuss
Yeah.
personnel issues.
Yeah. To discuss the personnel issue that we just heard about.
I make a motion that we go into into executive session to discuss employment issues.
Thank you, Peter.
I'll second.
Brian seconds. Carol,
Yes.
Tanya,
Yes.
Jonathan,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and Peter.
Yes.
Okay, so we're moving into closed session at 6:44 PM, and sorry to say, other than Tanner and Council and Corbin, the rest would have to leave.
Mayor, just for the public, would this be approximately 15 to 10, 15
I'm
minutes?
gonna think 10 minutes,
Yeah, that's probably.
no more, 10 minutes, no more than 15, how's that? So it is now 6:45, it will be no longer than 7, I think.